Rental assistance took a brief pause here in Omaha with applications for funds now closed, but that may change. The City Council is set to vote on an agenda item tomorrow that could reopen the fund. Our Bella Caracta reports.
Omaha and Match's emergency rental assistance program has distributed over $91 million in support through rental and utility assistance since the program began in April of 2021.
A lot of my clients seem to just have not really recovered from it. There's still many before the pandemic were living pretty tight margins, but I think it's even worse now.
Match's dashboard shows that funds haven't been released since October. Rent and utility assistance applications are currently closed. Evictions continue at high rates, though, according to Sedfeld. As an attorney for legal aid, she shifted her focus, only working eviction court when the pandemic hit. She's still only working evictions.
90% of the cases that come through eviction court are payment-related issues. So rental assistance is one of the biggest and most important ways to deal with that.
In August, the executive director of Match said they expected way more in assistance over the next 3 years from the second round of ERA.
Over another $100 million probably over those 3 years for direct assistance for individuals.
What the council will vote on tomorrow is a fraction of that, $1.2 million. On your side, in Omaha, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
We'll have to wait and see how the council decides. Thanks, Bella. Well, 6 News will be sure and bring you, of course, the latest coverage on the fate of the emergency rental assistance program here in Omaha. For the latest updates, you can always check our website, WOWT.com.